Hey everybody, welcome to the highlight. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Make sure that you like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. My apologies for being gone. We had a couple deaths in the family. RIP Scooter, RIP Rayana. So we just now kind of getting back into the swing of things. But today, have a good friend of mine, Georgia native, from the great Georgia Clay, born in Atlanta. Definitely been around here for about 4 or 5 years. So this is Nazir Stackhouse. He plays for the University of Georgia, defensive tackle. He used to play. He's joining us today because he's getting ready to go into the NFL draft. It's a big deal for him, and he's invested a lot into his career. So I really wanted him to come and just give his perspective on how his experience was in Athens and how he kind of, developed while he was here. And but before we even get to that, I want you guys to, know more about him other than football. So, bro, tell him a little bit about where you're from and what it was like growing up in Atlanta.
This is a crazy for a bit. I was born in Trenton, New Jersey. I moved down to Atlanta when I was 6, so you might as well say I'm a Georgia native.
Right.
And I say just life growing up in Atlanta. My mom moved around a lot. And to get into sports was something I did really early in my career. I met a lot of people, man, and especially in the cab area. You could say that I'm plugged in with a lot of really good, important people when it comes to coaching, players, really teachers too as well. It's just that I feel like I have a really big name or decent name in the community. I'll just say that my journey is something it's very up and down. I was back and forth from different schools. I went to MLK. I went to Cedar Grove.
Okay.
I went to Columbia High School, Stevenson.
Where you was living at?
My mom was living at the moment when I went to MLK. She was living in the Latonia area.
Okay.
So by when I came my 9th grade year, I transferred to Stevenson right after that. My mom was still living in the Latonia area, so I would drive 20 minutes just to go to school there in sophomore year. Played my sophomore year, all sophomore year. The junior year, I played half of my junior year there.
Well, hold on. Go back a little bit. How'd you fall in love with football?
Oh, it wasn't even something I had fell in love with at first sight. It was something I was a big kid. I was always a big kid. I was a chubby kid. So my mom put me in sports, so I feel lose weight. It's an active sport, especially for children. Something that could get them going. And my mom always thought we sat in the house all the time. And I was always a homebody. All my brothers that went outside always stayed in the house. So my mom wanted to make me a little bit more active. So I got on the field, played football. Shout out to Valster Wilson. He the man that helped me start it all. Central DeKalb Jaguars, Stone Mountain, Georgia. So I played there all the way until middle school. And so from six years old all the way to when I was 13, I was playing Little League ball. I didn't really start to fall in love with the sport until around I would say 8th grade, 9th grade. Then I started to see a little bit more in the game. I started to go a little bit more against competition. And the more competition I went against and the more I played well with that competition or well against that competition, I started to see how good I was. And so I'm
okay.
And so I was all right, bet I kind of, I'm kind of feeling the gist of it. And at the game itself, I just created a lot of connections too as well. The camaraderie, the connection, and just the networking throughout the whole sport made me, I would say, made me more in love with the sport than actually being on the field. Actually playing. And then I would say around 9th grade, I started my freshman year throughout that whole season. I started every game. And just to have that privilege was something that helped me make the game something of my own. And it was more than just having fun. It was more like a passion to go on the field, make big plays, celebrate with the teammates, and go out there and dominate. It was an opportunity to show a different side of me. And so I use that as leverage on the field every time. And so I've gained a lot of respect off the field because of it. People come to watch me play. They start to tell me how good I was on the field And I would say this was all just stuff that I was feeding into to help build up my confidence. And so the more my confidence built up on the field, the more unstoppable I felt on the field.
Okay.
And a lot of that build up on the field, I'm sorry to say that all the time.
Good.
Frequently. The more that build up while playing, like kind of like got rid of why I was doing it. So it was like, it was more like second nature. So now I wasn't on the field just so I can get respect on the field. I was playing on the field because it's fun to go out there and dominate against another man's will and celebrate with your boys. So now I could excuse my language, I give a damn if someone say I'm not good or not at the game, because I know how good I am on the field.
Right.
And I know how like
the results.
So at first I was using it as, hey, like I get all the respect. People know me and such, blah, blah, blah. I was chasing that. I'm no longer chasing that anymore. Now it's I'm at this point in my career now. I was like, man, I'm chasing dollars, I'm chasing bills. Like, you know what I mean? And so if it takes for me to set up small goals to work up to the ultimate goal, then that's what I'm gonna do. And so but I've just been doing that.
In Atlanta, culture wise, were there any parts of the moments that you saw that like made you, just enjoy Atlanta? Like, I mean, Atlanta's changed so much from when you got there when you were 6 to now. So it's just like, how do you seen the city then, seeing it now, like, what do you?
Man, I say a lot's changed, man. Like, people probably still the same. Like, I could definitely say they're probably still the same, but
True.
Atlanta as a whole, like, has changed a lot. And I don't know, people who aren't from Atlanta, they're slowly building it into like a mecca to where people can go for many opportunities that you can't get a lot of, like, in a lot of places. Like, they say New York and LA, Dallas are those big city places where you can go and do this, such as blah, blah, blah. But Atlanta is slowly starting to become one of those places.
Right.
And as I grow older, there's been a lot of different companies, been a lot of different things that you can do in Atlanta to help, build your brand. It can help with career. It's been helping with careers most of the time. Tyler Perry's been doing a thing with little acting stuff in Atlanta. They built the whole little thing. They got a whole neighborhood strictly just for like shooting shows, movies. And it's like the best opportunity. It's a lot of things that have been, and I don't know where he was getting at, where he was like, what changed in Atlanta, but I would say just a lot of like there was one time where like I would walk to school sometimes, and there was like this one street near Candler Road. They haven't had sidewalks there for 10 years. As soon as I graduated high school, come to Georgia, I say a year or two go by, I come back home, now sidewalks. So it's like, why it take y'all this long to build sidewalks? And I'm not saying that's what but it's like something to look at. Man, like, wow, like
it's improving.
It's been a lot of improvement. Where I've lived before is different. I go back to like the very first house my mom lived in, but for foreclosure. You go back to that house, they demolished it, built a brand new house. So I'm like, wow, like, man, and some of the schools that I went to, like Columbia, like after I left, like they got a foundation. Free foundation, they got a whole foundation. So it's like, wow, like, and it's just really just the communities that I grew up in have changed from the inside out. A lot of people who have made it to where they want to be in life were able to come back and invest to the communities. So you see a lot of big changes. You see a lot of like different community events, something that you haven't seen when you were growing up. And so I would say just a lot of big influences, businesses, companies making a change throughout the community is something that I've seen in Atlanta.
How does that stuff kind of motivate you now? Like, you're about to be in the league and get into different spaces. How does that make you reflect on how you want to leave your impact over there?
It's a big influence. Me and my mom always talk about it all the time. Like, I always want to give out to the community because I was one of those kids who admire those people coming to communities and do big things for us. You know what I mean? I was one of those kids that looked up to people who had a big influence in the community. So I always wanted to give back. So obviously I'm gonna do the cliche thing. I'm gonna do a back to school drive for sure. I'm gonna make it something that kids are willing to go to outside of just the meeting itself. Like, I want to go not necessarily because, I want to go get stuff for school. I want to go because I want to go have fun. These are kids that most time you want to make the kids' experience, them growing up, the best experience. So when you go to a back to school drive, it is not all just about the back to school drive. It's about meeting new people, having fun, smiling, like, you know what I mean? Just
Eating good food.
eating good food. Maybe it might be a bouncy house here or there.
Right.
You know, it's just certain things. And I look back into what I feel like was important to me growing up. I feel like the housing market just in Black communities has been something that's a bit challenging. Like my mom grew up a single mother. Like it was always hard for her to find somewhere to live with 4 boys. So it's like, I want to invest to a program or build my own program, nonprofit most of the time, that'll help single mothers, that'll help families who struggle finding homes, and try to venture off more into that and more into the homeless community.
Right.
You know, so I wanted to do something that helped the community, something that's going to develop over time, because obviously everything takes time. So it's like these conversations me and my mother have are just a little bit of conversations, something that I know can impact the community bigger than what people may perceive it as.
Right.
So it's like, okay, if I can help the homeless, I can make it more of a company that is expressing my goal or my goals into like what I want to do in this community. Cause like you go through Atlanta, you see a lot of people on the side of the road, such they don't need to be there. And I'm sure they don't want to be there. So it's like, if I'm homeless, I could walk into this building and say, hey, like I want to get my life together. I want to, you know, this and that, blah, blah. I want to make a system to where they can work towards getting a home place, get a job.
Right.
Because a lot of homeless people, it's like it's not easy for them to just get up and try and do something. Sometimes they need a phone.
Hand out.
They don't have an email. You know what I mean? Sometimes some of them don't even have identification. Where would they start? So I want to make a nonprofit where we help them with that. And I'm sure there's other ones that do it, but a lot of these programs are like money. They want this, they want that.
Yeah.
And I want to provide that for them, because this is something that is going to change the community. You know what I mean?
Give them something
like,
to come
there you go. So that's what's this big influence for me too.
Well, I definitely, you know, I just wanted to talk about home, man, just to see how you feel about home now and where you want to go with it. The next thing I want to talk about is, you know, getting into, you commit to Georgia, you come here. I know it was probably a culture shock. How did you see Athens before you feel, okay, I'm gonna go to Georgia. Now you're in Athens. You don't even know, like, how did you first perceive it, and how did it, I guess, you know, change as you grew up here?
I ain't gonna lie, like before I committed, I ain't know nothing about Athens, Georgia. I ain't know nothing about Georgia football itself.
Right.
It really is a big culture shock. You know, first person who ever reached out to me to recruit me was Tracy Rocker. This is back in 2016 at MLK High School. Mm-hmm. Pulled up to me. I was only like, I don't know how old I was, but I was young. He pulled up to me like, hey, like, you know what I mean? I like the way you play, such. And so I'm like, dang, like, I don't got no social media. I don't have a Twitter account. So I was like, how is he reaching out to me if he ain't seen me play? I don't know. Maybe he went to my coach to see my highlights or whatever. Mm-hmm. But Tracy Rocker reached out to me and said, hey, we like the way you play, such and blah, blah. He didn't offer me at that very moment, but he wanted me to come up and visit. So I'm like, okay, man, Georgia, that's crazy. The first team they ever offered me was Memphis. So after Memphis, like, verbally said, oh, we want to give you an offer. Georgia offered me right after that. It was like, oh, Memphis, we can't have Memphis good. We got to get him to stay home. So I go to Georgia, first time at Athens. I would say the first thing I remember coming into Athens, it was so hot that day. Mm-hmm. Like, it was so hot. I remember what I had on. I had a blue Nike shirt, and I had some And1 shorts.
Yeah.
It's like, to Georgia, it's so hot. We watching their spring, I was watching their spring practice at the stadium. It was so hot. And the crazy thing is, I didn't like take in at that moment how big the stadium was.
Yeah.
Because I was so like, I would say I was so shocked. It wasn't even spring practice, it was a camp. It was other players at that camp, and then I was like watching them. But I didn't really take in how big the stadium was at all. Like, that's how little I knew about Georgia football. I was sitting there looking at practice. I'm sitting there watching the guys go at it.
Right.
Such, blah, blah, blah. Didn't really know too many players until I got a little older. And so I know a little bit more. Tracy Rocker's at Tennessee now.
Yeah.
Trey Scott is now the defensive line coach. So Trey Scott reaches out to me. Hey, we want to have you come on a visit. And at this time, my recruiting coach was a bit more RP to him. Corey Johnson, he passed away about last year, RPM. But yeah, Corey was my recruiting coach at Stevenson, and he would take a lot of us on visits. I'm talking about he would rent out a van, go on visits, stuff like. So we go back to Georgia. Now I'm a little older, so I'm like, okay, bet. I'm looking at everything.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the canvas. I'm like, wow, like if this is what college is, I want to be here. I want to be here. And so I took visits to many SEC schools, Auburn, Tennessee, Alabama, you name it. I had been there. And it's like, for some reason, Georgia called my name. Like, not verbally, but Georgia was calling my heart. Like, I need to be here at Georgia. And then that kind of fed into the reasons why I wanted to go and why I wanted to commit. My mom is easy for mom coming again. My mom was like an hour, 10 minutes away. Right. The camaraderie, one, like I built a relationship with Devontae Wyatt. This is around the time I was transferring from Stevenson to Columbia.
Okay.
So I created a relationship with Devontae Wyatt. I realized that he went to Towers. They ain't nothing but around the corner from Columbia. So I'm like, oh, he went to Towers? Like, I didn't even know that, right? And so I connected with Devontae Wyatt. And mind you, I'm at Georgia more, like as a commit, I'm at Georgia more than just regulars recruits.
Right.
I'm there for regular practice. I'm there for spring practice. I'm probably there. One time I went there, and it was against recruiting policies, but I went there when I wasn't even supposed to be there. I think I skipped one day of school just to go there. Went there watching the practice. Coach got like, ain't you supposed to be in school now? I'm like, nah, man, they gave us all that. And so I'm there, and so I'm just like wanting to be in an environment. I want to see like how it feels to be in college itself, not alone Georgia football. So I'm spending time with the guys. John Ledbetter, at the time, Tyler Clark, Jordan Davis, Trayvon Walker, Bleak Heron, all these guys are already there. So I'm just in the meeting rooms, just chilling like I'm a real player. And so as I got older, I realized where I wanted to go more. Like I got to go to Georgia. I want to go to Georgia. So I started to go to their games. I'm talking about the biggest game I've been a part of as a recruit. We played Notre Dame. They played, I'm going to say we, because I'm a Georgia Bulldog now. We played Notre Dame in 2019. This is when they first introduced the red lights. So they first
yeah.
And I ain't know nothing about them red lights. So I'm thinking every Georgia football game is just like this, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going like, they're having a big game, huge game. Like it's one of the closest games I had, most physical game I've ever watched in college football. So I'm sitting there, this and that, such. Then them red lights came on. That's when I realized, I got to play here, bro. I got to play here. Because I've been but I've been to many college games where it didn't give me that feeling. It didn't give me those tingles inside. You know, like, oh man, this crazy environment. Like imagine come out that tunnel,
right?
All that smoke coming out there, you know what I mean, running out that, you know what I mean? So I'm like, I gotta be a part of this, something I gotta be a part of. And then that's when I started great game, a better relationship with Coach Scott. And then I started to listen more towards Kirby's smarts, views, and his goals. Because remind you, 2016, Kirby wasn't even there yet. I think he was there, 2016 was his first year there. But Kirby was still fairly a new coach at Georgia. He was like, I want to win that championship, SEC championship. I want to bring Georgia back to what Georgia used to be. And so I was like, I want to be a part of this. And if Georgia is going to be the underdog for the first couple of years, then that's something I want to be a part of. I want to be a part of a team that's building to perfection, building to success, and building to be victorious at the end. I want to be a part of that. And so that made my influence more like strong to commit here. And then the culture shock was just like the school itself, like go downtown, it gets live, and like Georgia downtown get live during game weekend. They get real live. So I'm like, I could do this. I could dig this for sure. I can really see myself coming here. So
you celebrate in the stadium and then go right next door to downtown, celebrate with all those people. So you get to Georgia, you're playing, and so that's what, because you didn't start automatically coming in.
I didn't start.
You had to build up the chart a bit. So like, what was the training like in the sense of just what you like grew to be, what that training made you into?
Man, my first 2 years at Georgia, the hardest years of my life. First 2 years at Georgia, probably the hardest years of my life. And man, like I grew up, well, I had to learn this, of course, but the way I grew up is to never quit. And so it didn't matter how hard it got for me, man. Every day I had to push. I had to push through it. And I would say the fear into just letting my teammates down and my older, at the time, these are my uncles, these are my big bros.
Yeah.
I did not want to let them down. Like me, Jaden Carter, and Warren Branson, we all came in. It was just three of us, defensive linemen. We wasn't like deep in the depth chart when it came to recruiting.
Yeah.
So it's like, man, there's only three of us they're looking at. You know what I mean? Some of these guys already been here. You know what I mean? So it's like, man, I gotta do something. And so if that takes 2 years to do, then that's what I'm gonna do. Like I'm talking about all season workouts, spring ball, summer workout, spring ball, fall camp. If it takes 2 years to do that, then I'm gonna do it. And I'm talking about, man.
And it's in the middle of the pandemic.
And it was in the middle of the pandemic. My first year was in the middle of the pandemic. I'm talking about we had to take so y'all don't know about the COVID test. Them young guys, y'all don't know about that COVID test we had to take. We had to take COVID 2 times a week. That was Sunday and Wednesday. I'm talking about you gotta wake up 7:30 in the morning and get nose swab.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
But yeah, we had to do that. And it's like, man, like at the time, like I knew the playbook in and out, you know. I feel like just in the coach's perspective, I underperformed. And so it's like, okay, or I was underdeveloped more than the other guys on my right. And so it's probably gonna take me a little more time to get a gist of this college life.
Right.
And I had to juggle that along with academics. So it was like, man, like I never really looked at myself as a student. I always looked at myself as someone, okay, I could do enough to get by, get this grade. Cause if it's gonna help me pass, then that's what I'm gonna do. It's like so many other people who are gifted to doing the work and being really smart at it. It's such like getting A's and B's and stuff like that. If I get a B, I'm happy. I'm elated. You know what I mean? So it's like, but if I get the grade I need to get, I'm fine with that too. But that's how I was. It's how I grew up. You can judge me or not, but this is how I grew up.
A lot of people.
And so when I come into college, we didn't have that type of program that prepare you for how it was going to be in college. So I'm like, all right, you know what I mean? I'm sitting there juggling school and this and that, such, blah, blah. And I did just enough the first 2 years. I did just enough what I needed to get by. And so I would say it was the toughest years of my life because I had to go against guys like Trey Hill. I had to go against guys like Ben Cleveland. I'm talking about these guys are in the NFL.
Right, yeah.
I'm just 17 years old.
Right.
Right? I had to go against like Justice Schaefer. Like, I think he's already saw like these guys are big, he's a grown man.
Right.
And so I had to go against them and scout team every day for 2 years straight.
Yeah.
And so, well, the first year, those guys, and then the second year was like kind of different. But I had to do that for 2 years straight. And so when my time actually came, when coach actually handed me the torch and put that burden on my back, I was like, hey, I'm ready. Because it took me 2 years to do it. And I stayed down. I could have transferred. I could have been like, nah, this ain't for me.
Right.
I got to go.
But at that time, y'all getting them championships. I mean,
yeah, second year we got the natty.
Yeah.
Here we got the natty.
Yeah.
And it's like after that natty, a lot of the guys who were in my class were like, we want to get our own national championship. We feel as though the guys before us, they worked towards that. And probably a little bit of us probably had like a say-so in that. But a lot of those scout guys, we didn't really touch the field like that. I'm like, I touched the field, but like I wanted them big games, like middle of the game.
Right, yeah.
And so I'm like, man, like if it take me 2 years to do it, I'm gonna do it. And so I ain't gonna quit no matter how hard it get. I ain't gonna let nothing hold me back. And that's the mindset that I was walking with. And that's the mindset I still walk with.
Right.
And so it's like, man, like things change in sports, bro.
When you get here and I think right when you got in is right when NIL started to become a
NIL started to become a thing after my junior season. So that's when NIL started to slowly become a big thing in college sports.
Yeah.
So I'm like, man, like, you know what I mean? Because I had no intention to leave my junior year. Like after my junior season ended, everybody said, oh man, you had a good season. Why you ain't gonna leave? I'm like, because I don't want to go leave now. Right now. I don't feel like I'm ready to go leave right now. Like, I had a good season, and I'm telling you, I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do.
Right. Your plan is your plan. You can't box me in what you think I should be doing.
Like you saying, oh, I had a crazy season. I just did what Georgia asked me to do, man. Like, and that goes back to me saying, oh, we got a systematic defense. Georgia has a very systematic defense. If everyone is playing if everyone is playing as one and everybody's doing their job, we're the best defense to ever go, like for people to ever go against. If one person messes up about 11 guys, it can destroy the whole defense. So that's one thing about systematic. Always, it can take one person.
Right.
Like, it's like when you're looking at a domino stack. It only takes one domino just
knock everything
down. And so when they come to me and be like, man, they had you a top 30 pick, man, your junior year, why you leave? I wasn't ready to leave, bro. Like, I feel like confidently, I just wasn't ready. And I was like, man, like you look at me like I was one of the best DTs come out. And I'm like, man, I'm just a guy doing his job, what he's asked to do. And I did it at the best of my ability. Consistently. And that's something that I held. Like after that, I'm like, man, if they saying that I'm doing this, I'm gonna keep doing it. And then some. So it's like that, man. It's like shoot, to do that for 3 years straight, it ain't easy.
Right. I was gonna ask you, what do you feel like your biggest, lessons are from that? Because you spent a good amount of time here, like it molded you. What do you feel like that is?
Like my biggest lesson that those 3 years.
Yeah, or just all of it. Yeah, what's your biggest lesson?
My biggest lesson is, man, I would say holding myself accountable, and listening, using my ears more than my mouth.
Right.
And I only say that to say this. Well, I'm talking about the listening part. I'm talking about when someone say, hey, bro, I think you need to go to the training room more, take care of your body. You know what I mean? I'm like, young self, like, man, what you mean? My body's straight. I don't need to take care of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm good right now, right? And so we take that for granted. Because now, as I got older, I started to realize, like, dang, it's some dings and knocks on my body. Like, I need to get that right. And it's something that probably built up over time. But because I took it for granted later, early in my career, now it's catching up to me. So
Yeah.
I would say just using my ears more. Get in that training room. Had to get that training room. I had to learn.
We went over and did that hot yoga.
I'm telling you, you take care of your body, man. You take care of your body. It helps you with off-field injuries. It helps you because, like, you understand football, you're inevitable to injuries. This is how it is. Like, it's 100% injury rate game. So
Right.
you're probably gonna get injured sometime in your career. But if you can handle all those muscle injuries and this and that off the field, then you're probably one of the best players that ever played the game. So it's like, get in that training room, use my ears more. And time management. Oh God, man, my time management. That's something that was like a up and down roller coaster, man. That time management, it was good. It was good at most times, and it was those times where I did manage it, and it caught up to me, and I had to learn big lessons from that. So
Like in the class
I'm
sometimes.
telling you, man, what?
Classes, right?
Them got those class checkers. They're like, oh, nah, I was late. I'm like, 5 minutes? I can't get 5 minutes.
Right. No, you can't.
No, you can't get 5 minutes. You gotta be class on time.
Right. We were talking about some of your highlight moments in the interception, but you also got to be a part of the 2 legendary teams seasons that, the back-to-back natties, and I want you to kind of demonstrate or really describe, like, what made those teams special.
I'll just say really the guys on the team, man. Like, you could just tell just being a part of that whole clique of guys that everyone had that same goal deep down in their heart. And I would say just being in those rooms with those guys, like, it was just something about them. Like, you knew that everyone had a different role on the team. And everyone knew that role. Like, you had a couple players like, oh, I want to make big plays. But everyone had a different role on the team, and these guys accepted that role. Everyone locked in onto what the ultimate goal was, regardless on what game we played in. The ultimate goal was to always win games. And then we go and look over to some things that we could have done better in the game the week after that or the day right after the game. And so it's like those guys in those rooms they were tough, they were resilient, they had composure on the field, and we just had a strong connection, which is our four traits at Georgia. So it's like those guys knew what it took to win games. Those first 2 teams took what it knew to win games, and you could only, from the outside in, only thing you could do is respect it. If you wasn't a Georgia fan, and I've seen people who weren't even Georgia fans, like, I ain't gonna lie, Georgia, they doing their thing. They're doing it the right way, meaning that they're playing like a team. They're playing like everyone is locked in, and you can just tell as a guy being a part of those type of teams. My first 3 years at Georgia, a guy being a part of teams, you can tell when it isn't that way. You can tell when it's more I and me.
Yeah.
You can tell when some guys start to fall off mentally in the game. You can tell when a lot of guys don't really want to follow someone because it's not wrong to follow. Sometimes not a lot of us are meant to be leaders. So instead,
And great leaders know when to follow.
exactly. So it's like everyone wants to be a chief. No one wants to be what did it say? Everyone wants to be a chief. So it's like some of us got to learn how to follow someone else in order for us to understand what it is to be a leader. And so a lot of guys want to do their own thing, such blah blah, and that's okay. If you're that guy on the team, do what you want to do. If you're helping us make plays in the game, big plays, not no little stuff that when we go against, I don't know, Charleston Southern or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm talking about big plays in the game that help change the momentum of your game. So right there, one of those guys, hey, do what you want. You know what I mean? If you feel as though like it's all about you and this and that, hey, do what you want because you're helping us win games.
Right.
But them other guys, that don't have that type of mentality, that motto, we need you to lock in, and we need you to focus more on what we need from you. Right. So it's like a lot of, and then another thing, I feel like with the team, the past teams that I play with, it's nothing against them, great teams. Every team I play with, there's always been some lesson learned from that season. Right. But I could definitely see what these past couple teams, the last season and the year before that, is a lot of guys that need to understand if it doesn't work out for you, like if it doesn't work out for you right then and there, it doesn't mean it won't later down the road. And you'll eventually know or feel when you want to be in a certain program later in your career than early. Sometimes guys will be like, I want to transfer now. Some guys might find out that maybe somewhere else is better later in their career. So it's like, a freshman come in and be like, man, I ain't playing. So maybe the coaches don't need you to play right now because they want you to develop more against each other every day. We want to see development. Like Coach Scott was one of the most blunt guys, one of the most blunt guys in that building. Not coaches, but there's guys in that building. He was gonna tell you straight up, like, I don't think you're ready to play yet. I don't see it in practice. I don't see it here in the meeting rooms. Like, until you show me that I should put you on the field, that's when I'll put you on the field. Don't take that personally. Take that as in, okay, coach gave me what he wants from me. I'm finna show him that I'm ready at practice and in the meeting room. And so some guys use that like, oh man, I ain't playing. I'm finna transfer. And so it's like, hey, like, slow your roll. Yeah. You know what I mean? You got too much dip when you chill.
Yeah. Take it all.
Like, relax. Use that as a learning lesson. Because you understand, one thing about Kirby and one thing that I know that he tells the truth is that he's going to play anybody. I'm talking about 17-year-olds to 23-year-olds.
Right.
He's going to play anybody that's going to help the team win. He's going to play anybody that's going to help the team produce.
No, there's no criteria or critique.
Yeah, it's not. And so, but from 2021, 2022, those two teams, it didn't matter what guy, like even the walk-ons knew their role. The walk-ons knew their role. Like, hey, we're going to make sure we get them a look through this. Like, they're playing Alabama in the SC Championship. We're going to get them the best look this week. You know what I mean? That's our goal. That's what we want to do. If these guys will help us make it to that championship so we can get a ring, walk-ons too, so we can get a ring, we're going to do it. And they accepted that. And so it's like we're playing guys like, I don't know, Bryce Young. We knew that Bryce Young is a scrambling QB. So one of our walk-on guys that's a scout player, he going to make sure he's scrambling around the field to help the defense.
Right.
It's something it's a team effort sport. So if your role is to be a great scout guy throughout this season, that's going to help you get onto the field some way, somehow, or it can help you get a scholarship somewhere else.
Right.
You know what I mean? If that's your job, these guys cherished it. You could tell. Like, you could tell no guys were like me, Coach Scott always said.
They weren't bigger than the program.
They were not bigger than the program. And so this NIL deal was also a big thing that made a lot of guys like, I'm getting paid more than the coach. And so it's like, man, who are you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, man, like, forget how much you're getting paid. Play the sport you've been in.
Production.
We forget that with this NIL also comes production. Why would I pay you this much money? You haven't done anything yet.
Right.
And hey, that's an argument for another one. But I could just say like the guys at 2021, 2022, like they just knew how to do it the right way. And they worked hard to do it. You can see it in the offseason. You can see it during spring. See it during fall camp, summer. You see it.
Right.
And so one thing that helped me was to be a part of that crew, I had to work hard myself. I want to be a part of that. I don't want to be a weak link. One of my biggest fears is to be a weak link.
Like DB say, don't.
There you go. Like, so like, I didn't want to be a weak link in my room. I didn't want to be a weak link on the team. So I made sure whatever it took to be a part of that program or a part of that group of guys, I made sure I bust my butt just to do it.
Right. Don't be last, y'all.
Don't be last.
Don't be last.
Don't be last.
So you go through that historical moment, man, and now, 2021 or 2023 and the last season you just had 2024. Now you're you started how many games since after that Natty and those guys went on to the league. Georgia kind of had to depend on you.
Yeah.
So
after my junior year, Kirby it almost like kind of begged me to come back. I was like, Coach, I was already come back. So
yeah,
you don't got to beg me. You know what I mean? This is my junior season. I started 15 games that year. The following year, I started 15 more games. So right after my junior year, because we didn't go to the Navy that year. So I'd say 12. SC Championship will be 13. And playing Orange Bowl, that's 14. So I started 29 games, something like that.
Okay.
Games. So from junior year to senior year, about 29 games. And then I started 12 games a season right after that. So around 40 some games.
Okay.
I started
Jeez.
from,
That's a part of that. What was the win streak?
Win streak was like
52?
52, 55 and 4, 55 and 5 or something like that.
Okay.
That was the record we left out. Something like, I might be wrong, but I think it's 55 games, 55 and 5 or 56 and 5. It's one of those. But so I started around 40 some games the last 3 years at Georgia, my last 3 years at Georgia. And it's like most question, like, dang, like, what did you do to help you stay consistent? And, I want to say help me stay consistent, but what did you do to like keep yourself relevant on the team? And so I just had to stay true to myself. One thing I didn't do is try to become something I wasn't.
Yeah.
Like I was not a person who wanted to work outside of my technique to make plays. I was not that type of guy. I wanted to do it the right way. And it's like most people may think that's cliche. Like, man, any player would do that. You know what I mean? But it's like I had to realize that there are guys on a team meant to do big things, at a high level at Georgia, and there are guys on the team who fill in those spots, role play them at. So it's like, I was like, and as boring as that sound, I accepted that I was more of a role player than one of those guys who played third down or played third down. So I'm like, all right, bet. And so like this is where I'm at right now. You got young guys behind me, they're doing their thing. So I don't want to make this more about, I'm trying to do better myself. I need to do this, I need to do that. I want to make it more of as a team thing. What can I do to help the team win games?
At that part, you're veteranized.
There you go.
You're giving
better. People call me Unc. I'm like, I'm big bro. I'm not Unc, bro. Oh, big bro.
Right.
And so at that very moment, I didn't want to dwell too much on, and Coach Scott always said this. He's like, oh man, you gotta be selfish this year, do your thing this day. It's like, Coach, it's not that type of team, and you know that. This is not that type of team. So I can't just go out there and be selfish, because me being selfish can jeopardize our defense. And so instead, I created it more like I said, it's going to be boring, but I created more of myself like, hey, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do whatever it takes to help my team win. You know what I mean? And so, and it was easier for me to do that and still be consistent at that level, this pattern. Right. And still be consistent at that level. And it's like, it was hard to do that because now I'm on the field with a lot of guys who are younger, haven't really played the big games. You know what I mean? And so it's like, you gotta kind of coach them up a little bit, still go out there and do your thing at the same time. So I would say just like keep myself like healthy, get in the training room. Right. It's something that thing that I can control. I can't control Coach putting me in on third down. I can't control that. Right. I can't control how many snaps Coach get me in the game. You know what I mean? Like I played 50-some snaps against Alabama. Did I want to play 50? Not really.
Right.
Real banged up right after it was. It helped the team at that time. We didn't win the game, but it helped the team. Right. So it was like, what if I didn't play 50 snaps? What if I only played 20? Yeah. Then what would the outcome be? What would that be like? I wanted to provide the team with my availability more than my talents. Obviously.
Availability and consistency.
There you go. And I wanted to provide the team more than that. And so I say just me accepting that, because like sometimes like you might get overlooked. That's how it is. Like life's hard. Hey, life's hard. Sometimes you might get overlooked. Sometimes it might be a guy outperforming you. But because like the coaches feel as though, hey, we think such and such is a better prospect on the field than such and such, we're gonna put him out there. And like you might get outshined by some people. And it's just how it is, but you cannot make it personal to you, because at the end of the day, your journey is different from anybody else. Right. So I was like, so most of my guys made big plays, I could be nothing but happy for them, because like some of you got 3 and out guys, some guys 5-year guys. Right. I'm saying that at the end of the day, my whole goal was to just go out there and win games. And my whole goal is to go out there and just celebrate with my team. So since certain guys made big plays, I could do nothing but feel happy for them, because I was like, man, like, hell yeah. We was all here in the moment. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So I was like, hey, it's balling, you doing your thing. So
it is a big thing. Like you got to live in those moments of like, some of this stuff ain't going to be here forever. And I think that's probably a lesson you learn at the
definitely a lesson that I learned, because man, like, it didn't really hit me. It still hasn't hit me that like, like my years playing at Georgia has come to this. It hasn't in me yet, but it's like, man, like I've done so much, I've been a part of so much, and have earned so much that I could actually look back at it and be like, wow, like, you know what I mean? And most people would dream of careers, not like mine. I wouldn't say like mine, but most people would dream of really good college careers because not every time someone can go through that much perseverance, that much adversity, and get out unscathed. And so I just thank myself. I thank the Lord. You know what I mean? I just thank for just being like healthy, just getting out of all of that. Because I've been a part of some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like, I just feel thankful looking back at it, like, man, I've done all this. And now I'm like here where I want to be. I'm not where I need to be, but I'm where I want to be right now. And so, and at this very moment. So where I need to be is something that's in the future. That's where I need to be. Right. That's where I aspire to be. So it's like, when you look back at everything you did in the past, like you start to realize that, man, like you have done everything right up to this point. Keep doing what you've been doing because
new stuff.
There you go. And there's obviously moments, there's those gray areas or those empty spots where you can fill in with your element, regardless of it's emotional, physical, you know what I mean, mental. It doesn't matter. There's always those zero spots that you can fill in and develop yourself. But right now, I think I'm good. And so, you know.
True. Now you're preparing for, well, then, you know, you finished your last season. You know, you say your goodbyes, and now you get invited for the combine. And tell me, just walk me through, you know, that process, and then now leading up to the draft, just how things have been going.
I'm like, really everything leading up to the combine was the preparation in Pensacola, Florida. I was trained out there for about 6 weeks, 7 weeks, or 7.5 weeks, what people might say.
Yeah.
Trained out there, played in the Shrine Bowl, great experience. Actually played the second time playing in the Cowboy Stadium. And so played in the Shrine Bowl, just in that blah, blah. A week later, combine comes up. So we go to the combine, I'm talking about big, I'm like, man, I go combine, man, go to Indianapolis. It's my second time in Indianapolis. A lot of people didn't even know that. This is my second time in Indianapolis. We played there in the national championship.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Won. We played there. Or 22, I made playing national championship there. And we played against Bama, won that game. So that was my second time in Indianapolis. And just to be in that environment was something that like I dreamed about. You know what I mean? And someone told me, I forget who it was, I think I don't know who told me. Someone told me like, when you go to this drive, man, no, when you go to the combine, just remember you belong there. So don't feel intimidated. Don't feel like you don't have no sort of confidence in this and that, because you gotta understand what you have been doing up to this point help you earn that right to be at the combine. And so I took that with me. So I'm like, you're right. You know what I mean? To go there, I met a lot of guys I didn't really know of. I actually met a couple of guys who knew who I was, and I was like, wow, like, you know what I mean? So I must have been doing something right.
Right.
Where some of my peers can recognize me and I haven't even met them at all. So it's
Right.
just to be there. At the time they had different, I think they had chauffeurs from different teams walk us around. So my group, it was these two chauffeurs, I forget their names, but one of them was for the Jaguars and the other one was for the Colts. And it would just like make sure we're going everywhere on time, such a blah, blah. All we're there, we're doing the medical, and I'm talking with all these doctors. It's probably the most boring process. Like I had 7 MRIs. I told them. They said how many surgeries you have? I said 0. They're like, really? We don't believe you. 7 MRIs. So they're like, what are some of those small injuries you got? I said, well, I tore my PCL. I had turf toe like 3 years ago on my toe. I got two broken pinky. They're like, oh, we got MRI. Definitely MRI the knee. They need the MRI my knee, both of my ankles, both of my feet, and both of my toes. And the MRI my shoulder. I'm talking about I was in the hospital for about 7-8 hours.
Dang, just getting.
And I missed out on media day. They had a media day planned up. I missed out on that. I'm like, wow, like, dang, like, maybe this come on, you know what I mean? Maybe to come on really that like excited until the actual workout. Yeah. And I'm like, wow, like, this workout fun. Like, you know, we doing drills. I did the 40-yard dash, the most famous event at the combine. I did the 40-yard dash, man. Got good pictures taken. Got hella gear. You know what I mean? Nice hotel. Like,
I mean, just like as a kid, it's like
yeah.
Kind of envision what is that experience going to be like.
And so, yeah, so now I'm actually living the experience that most would question early in their career. So they're like, man, like gonna come out, that thing it's fun, man.
Right.
It was not fun leading up to the combine.
Yeah.
It was not fun.
It's hard work.
It was not fun in the process when you go to combine and do all the medical stuff and meetings and interviews. Like it's very mentally draining.
Yeah.
And then the crazy thing is they want you to go through all that and then perform at a high level on the field.
Yeah.
So it's like, man, you done put us through 3 days of hell.
But I'll say this, like, that's where you earn your money, bro. You know, like that's Dante Robinson. We had a conversation on here, and at the time he didn't have NIL. You know, they didn't have NIL, so he was like, the combine was where you go to make your money. He was like, if you want to make your money in the league, the combine is where you go. And I think once again, I still feel like that from your class on. You know, y'all were hungry for that. Y'all still hungry to get into the league.
Yeah.
You know, the hunger today seems like, you know, it's not.
For a little bit.
Yeah, and it's like
more guys money hungry, and it's like, man, like some of us, most of us are chasing financial freedom, but at the end of the day, some guys actually take this sport serious, and it's more serious than others.
Right.
So like they give a damn about NIL. They be like, Coach, I'm good with this. You don't gotta, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, my biggest goal was to go to the league. So like, if you give me NIL, it's not going to change my goals, and it shouldn't change your goals. If anything, NIL should help you comfortably live while you're in college. It's supposed to keep you comfortable while you're in college.
Yeah.
They're not supposed to get comfortable when it comes to the sport, preparation, working out. It should not get you comfortable with that. You should not
the whole cookie.
There you go. They like, hey, like we'll give you NIL help with your family members back home, so comfortably do what you've been doing since high school or kid.
Right.
This is why we give you the money. But instead, some of us like, and there's nothing wrong with it. You know, there's nothing wrong with it. At the end of the day, most of these guys are kids, most of these guys are teenagers. But it's not, I'm like, some guys they get been really, really nice cars, fast cars, big jewelry. I'm talking about the biggest chains.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing subtle. Like most of this, like, you know, some people they be getting something subtle. It's just tennis chain. I got this. Shot.
They got the dang super.
I'm talking about big old. I just can't even imagine.
And that's one thing I've always liked about you, bro, is like you limit your temptations in the sense that you put a cap on some of this stuff.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like you can get a car easily.
No, I can easily get a car.
Easily get a car, but the risk and
definitely the risk.
trouble that it gets you in. I mean, it's just certain things. You sacrifice things to get things. That's another part. So it's like, even though you didn't have a car, you had no problem getting around, but it also helped you focus on what you had to do.
There you go. And it just leads me to stress, man. It's like, man, I'm like, yeah, I always wanted a whip. I had like three different favorite cars I wanted. At one time, I wanted the Bronco. Then I wanted a Toyota Sequoia.
Oh yeah.
And then I think I wanted a Blazer, like a Chevy Blazer, like an all black Chevy Blazer. I like got me a Blazer. Then I was like, man, I don't want none of that no more.
Right.
So I was like, why? Because like, I don't know. I just like I said, NIL is supposed to keep you comfortable throughout college. I got comfortable buying lifts everywhere I went. So it was just a second nature. Oh, I need to get here. I'm just gonna call a lift. They were like, have you ever drove to the airport? No. I spent like $100 on a lift just to get to Hartsville Jaguar.
Right.
Like what? And I will always do that. If I'm
Your blues groom, man.
like, and I will always do that, bro. So like, I will give me a lift to anywhere I need to go.
Yeah.
Like, but if it's somewhere like 10 minutes away, 14 minutes, if I had a whip, I'll drive there. Like, no, I'm trying to drive there.
Right.
You know what I mean? But just because with my condition, I never really wanted to put myself in that situation. You know what I mean? So I'm like, you know what? Today, I don't trust myself to get behind the wheel. Let me call it that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's just things that I just have to be very cautious whenever I'm making that decision. So it's like, that's outside of like NIL alone. Like,
yeah, that's like a lifestyle.
There you go. And so, but like, you know, so this NIL thing is like, yeah, it's a gift and it's a curse. It's a good and bad thing. Yeah, pros and cons. Everything has pros and cons.
Right.
So, but eventually, I'm thinking they're putting a cap on it eventually.
Yeah,
like and
settlement.
And it was like, one thing you don't want NIL to do is separate the team. So like eventually they're going to start paying everybody on the team.
Yeah.
So because we want to bring back that, not just we, but college as a whole. We want to bring back that work ethic. Like community. Some people say this is why Saban retired football. He said he can't do it NIL stuff.
Yeah.
And so I didn't really look too much into that, so I don't know if that's true or not. But it's like, hey, like if that's the reason, then I cannot blame Nick Saban about that, because you understand, when guys were committing to schools, these are places that they want to go to get developed, to go to the next level. So when guys committed to Alabama, most of those guys were guys that wanted to go to the NFL.
Right.
Guys came to Georgia, most of those guys were guys that wanted to go to the NFL. If there was other places, some may say, oh, he only went here because he couldn't play at Georgia Alabama. So I was like, hey, even if that was true, at least they're going to somewhere where they're comfortable playing college ball, and that's going to help them develop to get to the next level.
Right.
So it's like nowadays, guys commit because they're trying to figure out how much money you gonna get them. Oh, what's your collective team looking like? How much money they bringing in every year? What?
Yeah.
So that's them the questions you asking nowadays. Because when I was a recruit, I'm asking like, shoot, like where if I were to come in right now, where I'm at on the roster, like, you know what I mean? Where can I build up to? So if I'm here on the roster, that means, okay, I got an opportunity. All right, bet they got like this many guys. Okay, I could, you know what I mean? This, blah. What do y'all do in the meeting room? Like, how do you teach, coach? How do you teach the playbook?
Right.
How do you teach the players on the field? What are some of the coaches that you like on the team? Like, as a recruit, what are some people you like on the team? At the time, these things matter. Where the dorm rooms at? What y'all dorms looking like? Okay, our dorms looking nice. They cool. They're cool. Campus was a big thing too. How big is the campus? Like, oh, I like campus. It's real chill.
Come on, yeah.
Oh, you know what I mean? I can walk here. Okay, class. Okay, bet. What y'all academics talking about? That's straight. Oh, okay, bet. Okay, I like the academic builder facility right here. Bet. I can see myself doing all right. Bet. Oh, and okay, bet. The dorm room right up the street. So if I can't catch the bus, it ain't nothing but a half a mile walk to the facility.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what I mean? All right, bet. These are the things that people in my class and behind me looked at. Before me, I'm tripping. People in my class and before me looked at these things when they were recruiting. Nowadays, they're like, shoot, Cole, how much money you gonna give me if I come here, man?
Yeah.
So it's like, and the crazy is a lot of players forget that they get a around $240, $250 stipend on Friday. Players still get that. If you're on a scholarship, the school is obligated to give you a stipend to help pay for a phone bill.
Yeah.
Food, maybe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you live in an apartment, they'll help you pay for an apartment.
Right.
They're obligated to do that.
Right.
So people forget because of these big old NIL deals, 15,000, 25,000, 100,000, million, 4 million.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like people forget y'all get a $250 stipend on Friday. I was living off that. My first 3 years of college, I was living off that $250 stipend before I moved out of ECV.
Right.
I live on that. That's all I need. I'm like, hey,
make it work.
I would literally save that every week. I would take like $50 out.
Right.
And I put the rest into my side account, like a side.
Yeah.
And I would use that $50. I would use that throughout the week because, and then plus, like, one, you got to stay in college, especially in a scholarship. No matter what sports you play, they pay for housing.
Yeah.
They pay for food.
Mm-hmm.
Like you get meal plan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they pay for you get equipment.
Yep.
All this came with Georgia. Ain't nothing involved. Equipment. If you didn't have nowhere to live, you would probably live in your facility.
Right.
It's the crazy thing is you're
Provided for it. Look.
there you go. Yeah, like everything, like you have access to a lot of resources. Books paid for. Classes, you get dibs on every class.
Yeah.
So like right before we got registered for classes, football players go first. People don't even know that. Like people don't even know that. Football players get dibs on all classes.
Yeah.
So like say my degree in this, I get dibs on if I want this class or not.
Right.
Right before the 36,000 students get it, right? And so it's just a lot of things. Like so when you forget that you get that $250 at the end of the week and you're so dependent on the 13th, like most players get paid on 13th every month. And so depending on 30, you forget you get that $250. So I was like, man, I'm looking for that $250. Hey, when that $250 come, I ain't trying to touch NIL. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not even trying to touch it. I'm trying to get that $250. So it was like, you know what I mean? So that's something that, like, you know, I feel as though a lot of guys will get NIL. And that's one thing that NIL has done. It has it exiled what guys actually was getting before NIL. This is guys were surviving in college, and it still kept that same work ethic on the field, in the meeting rooms and stuff like that. Guys was still having fun. Guys was still actually getting that college experience. These guys getting NIL nowadays, they forget how actually every guy actually is to be a student. When the guys weren't getting NIL, they actually were somewhat like a regular student on campus.
I want to go back to the NIL stuff because we was talking about, you know, how it affects players, and I think even now it's affecting teams because and I'm not sending no harsh criticism, but it's just a observation. Like there are a lot of teams that do a lot of promo. They do a lot of marketing. They have a lot of people on the scene. And I remember one of the people that I talked to, they was like, "Oh man, we're so focused on promotions right now." I was like, "Man, we're
Like promotions,
like having this artist come to the game or having this celebrity actor at the game." You're like Texas or like
sing there.
Yeah.
4 or 5 celebrities.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, cool, or like Colorado, and it's just like, cool, OT7 Kwani come or whatever, and it's like, but how does this translate to football performance? Like that's what I feel like.
Like you're
A part of this NIL discussion, like they're throwing so many things at this, and they're like, oh, NIL is going to make all of this stuff work.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, it's the other way around. Football makes all of these other things.
Exactly. Like you understand, like I would say just with Quavo, and I'm going back to the celebrity influence.
Yeah.
With Quavo just being such a huge advocate or just a big supporter and enjoyer of football. People
from Athens.
People don't understand Quavo is from Athens. So it's like, you a question, like, what about Snoop Dogg? Snoop Dogg's not from Colorado. Why is he at a Colorado game? It's nothing against y'all having Snoop Dogg at a Colorado game, but how is this helping the team? Mind you, Colorado went, 6-5 last season?
Yeah.
So we were like, okay, you know what I mean? What are these big celebrities doing for the team? If anything, if a celebrity that I look at and admire is even near Georgia football, I'm trying to have the best performance in my life, because maybe you performing at a high level in front of them may open up opportunity for you or the team, or because maybe they be like, oh man, who was that man? He was doing his thing. So like later on in your life, be like, hey, I played Georgia. That was me. That was you. Oh shoot, I know. Yeah, I mean,
Right.
Yeah, maybe that's the reason. But yeah, again, it's like
it doesn't do much.
They really don't do much, because how much do we evolve these celebrities?
Yeah, the entertainment, they're here today, gone tomorrow. Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, I fuck with Quavo. Quavo cool as hell. Like, what I mean? It's just great to know that he knows my name and knows who I am. But at the end of the day, I have once sat in the TV room and he came and talked with us.
Yeah.
Like, what I mean? So it hasn't been a time where Quavo came out and just like, yeah, man, this how I did. Like, maybe just your voice telling us how you know what I mean, build up who you are to help out somebody on the team.
Right.
We done had guys like Maria Taylor. We had people like Maria Taylor. She came up twice, actually. Fall camp, we always have some really good people come in and talk influence to us. Maria Taylor gave us the whole rundown of how her career went as a Black, powerful woman in sports. And so when she gave us that runaround, we were like, wow, man, we didn't understand, it could be a struggle, when you threw ESPN and such, blah, blah. We didn't understand that, what I mean, sometimes you may be a little bit nervous at the beginning of your first gig, actually hosting sports. So people didn't really look at women in sports as a big thing when she was on her come up. And so she made a huge difference with just women in sports. And so that's something that we looked at wow, it's not just us, it's other people too. So it's like, okay, how can someone, maybe it was a rapper in on a football team that could push his career a little bit more outside of football to help him become an influence outside of football. Maybe there's a rapper on the team that would love to hear from someone like Quavo talk his journey. Because this is about a lot of guys who rap, or just really just the music industry itself. It's we really never hear what y'all go through. The ones that I
contract,
the ones I can remember was Mac Miller, J. Cole. You know what I mean? You can actually go and find videos and then talk about journey. So what are these rappers? Most of the time it's rappers. These celebrities are most of the time rappers. What are these rappers or just celebrities as a whole doing for the sport itself? Are they donating money to the school? Are they helping with equipment?
Right.
Are they setting up programs? What are we doing? How are you going to help with the sport? And it's nothing wrong with just being at the game. But I feel it's how frequent you are at the game. Because I'm not going to lie, Colorado was a big thing when it came to different celebrities being at y'all games. So it's okay, maybe y'all are helping out the ratings of the like with the big games for that week. You can be helping out the ratings. You can be helping out how many people show up to the game. So people be like, oh, I don't know,
Rick Ross going this.
Taylor Swift gonna be at the Colorado game.
Yeah.
You gonna sell out for sure, sell out the game. But how's it helping the football team?
Yeah.
Because you may sell out that game and the team lose by 30, you know what I mean, by 30. So it's like, okay, all right, we get it, such, blah, blah, blah. So maybe having those celebrities or those rappers or those singers, some of them be actresses and actors, maybe having them on the team is creating some sort of media outlet. So like the media could be like, oh, such at their practice.
Yeah, some little media economy.
So now you got the media more on your team, such stuff. But then again, media ain't all good media ain't all media isn't good media.
Right.
But like sometimes you want your players to be focused more on the game for that week. You want your players to be focused on winning and preparing. So it's like when you have all of these people side to side, this and that, blah, blah, at your games or at your practices, maybe that may create some sort of unfocusedness. Or guys aren't focused anymore because now they see they got Quavo at their practice. Oh man, Quavo, man, that's crazy. And that such blah blah. He forget what the whole plan was in the beginning. So when we go and play Texas, I'm saying Texas specifically because that's what y'all did. Y'all did that. We ain't do that. We came in there. We wanted to win. We didn't care. We didn't give a damn. Kirby said it. We didn't give a damn who was gonna be there. Barack Obama. Trump was at that.
Yeah.
No, Trump was at that game. He was at the Bama game. We played Alabama. Donald Trump was at the Alabama game. Why?
Yeah,
like you know what I mean? But it's like we played at Texas. You had Devin Booker. You had
Matt McConaughey,
YBN Carday, and you had Kevin Durant.
Yeah,
I'm like Kevin Durant at the game.
Yeah, it's hard.
I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah,
I wish I was on the other side of the field so I could actually say, "What's up, Sharon?" Like that though. But pulling up on the outside, and you see what we did, and we going to Texas.
Right.
So I was like, hey, that is nothing for your game. And it is nothing for the game. And so that goes back into why we had these people here. It's one of the biggest games of the year.
Yeah.
Last time we met with Texas was 2019 in the Sugar Bowl.
Yep.
And the last time we met with Texas, Sugar Bowl. Last time we met with Texas. So it was like, okay.
Now they in SEC.
So it was like, y'all said, like, so Coach Kirby always said this. No, yeah, I don't know if Kirby or Scott, but somebody always said, I think it was Kirby, the game, it's only a big game because we playing it. If Texas was playing, I don't know, Missouri, they're like, no, it's not a big game. Like, nothing against Missouri, y'all good team, but if Texas was playing Missouri, no, it's not a big game. But because Georgia, Big Bad Dogs, walked to Austin, Texas, to play the Texas Longhorn. This is the biggest game of the year.
Yeah.
Outside of Alabama. I don't know if we played Alabama before or after. I forget.
I think it was before.
Before, yeah.
Yeah.
Outside of the Alabama game, this is one of the biggest games of the year. So this game got to be like the big game. So, yeah, invite Matthew McConaughey, invite KD, Kevin Durant. I don't think they even invited KD. I think KD just came. I'm not sure this game. You know what I mean? So, it's like if we play Ohio State I don't know where Ohio State is, but I don't know where I don't know what I did.
I don't.
But if we had to play at Ohio State, I guarantee you LeBron James is going to be there.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, all right. There's nothing wrong, like at the end of the day, there's nothing wrong with having celebrities at a game. Nothing wrong with it. But it's how frequent they are at the game. Matthew McConaughey is always at a Texas game.
Right.
The big ones, of course. I don't know if he at the little one.
Yeah.
But in the big Texas, what is Matthew McConaughey doing? Is he providing programs for guys who want to get into acting? Like, because if that's the case, then that's great. Like, because sometimes football may not work out for a lot of guys.
Yeah.
Like, Matthew McConaughey could be reaching out, going, hey, like, you know what I mean, want to get into acting. I got these couple of such opportunities you can reach out to. Instead, making Texas ball, Matthew McConaughey. What he had to do with Texas football. So it's like, did he play football?
Right.
Did he really play at Texas? Right. He may be from Austin, Texas. Yeah. But did he play at Texas? Like, I mean, for the Texas guys, if anybody that's went to Texas is watching this, can y'all do some research for me? Because I don't know, you know what I mean? What's the big deal, Matthew? At least Quavo can say, I'm from Athens. I'm a dog fan till I die.
I used to go with my grandma and watch it.
But that's all you can see. That's really all you know at Georgia. And the old dude from Power, he don't really come all the time. He don't really come. Yeah, you're right. So when he there, big thing. I think we had Ric Flair one year. They had Ric Flair pull up to us. Yeah. So Ric Flair was at when I was like 2019. Ric Flair pulled up to Georgia.
I remember that.
Seeing him.
I remember that.
But like Georgia Walk, we don't have a lot of celebrities pull up to our games.
Right.
There, don't have.
I feel like recruits. I feel like recruits, bro. Like stuff like that doesn't do much for recruits. They want to know, as you said, especially now, they want to know how much they're getting paid and if they're gonna play. That the celebrity stuff doesn't do much in the sense of it might do stuff for the city. It might
definitely do something for the city. It might do something for the ratings of the game.
Tickets.
Like you tell somebody a couple of days before Drake pull up to Athens, I bet you they gonna be at that game.
Right.
Like our games get packed anyway. It don't matter who we play.
And I was about to say, because we had Kai Cenat. Like Kai Cenat didn't ask Kai, and nobody asked.
Yeah, no one asked Kai Cenat to pull up. He just pulled up. You know what I mean? He was in Athens.
And stadium was already packed.
Stadium already packed. We were playing who was
and
who we were playing? We were playing like all school.
That might have been it wasn't the Minutemen. It was right before
the Minutemen.
Mississippi.
No, wait.
Mississippi State. It was
Ball State. It wasn't Ball. It was one of them schools.
Yeah, one of those
schools. But we played them, and he was at one of them.
I think it might have been Tennessee Tech.
Tennessee Tech. You sure it's Tennessee Tech? It may have been Tennessee Tech.
It was one of those early games.
But one of the early games, we weren't playing nobody, and that was at a game, and our game was already packed. So it was like, hey, we didn't have Kai Cenat beat, but if we did ahead of time, I'm sure he would have been on our side. But again, you understand, Kai Cenat is an influencer, so it was like that would have been nothing but distraction on the side. If Kirby would have seen that, he would have been like, there you go. And he I want to say Kai Cenat is one of those subtle guys that kind of record.
Yeah, he ain't gonna go in there and try and mess up the game. Yeah.
I mean, I'm like, that's more of a destroying thing. Destroying, obviously, he was doing like a tour.
Yeah, I remember that.
Stuff like that. But if he was at one of our games, he wouldn't make a big ruckus like, oh, I'm here. So like, he made it like, wow, this is a great environment. He would have made it about him being at the Georgia game, not, oh, look at the players like this, blah, blah, because at the end of the day, some guys don't know the experience. So just be there is an opportunity, a blessing for them.
And that's what I think, people understand about not just Georgia, but like Athens itself. Is like, this is an international market. This is also a place where people like Kai Cenat are choosing to come to. It's not a branding campaign. It's not a let me force this on you so we can look good.
Yeah.
This is a place where people are coming to get stuff done, not just be entertained. So I look at it, as like the city itself, if we're attracting people like that, shoot, the head of Amazon Music came here. The head of Prize Picks, I remember he came to my class one time.
Ian was just here. He did, like, I don't know, he was downtown about a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
He was downtown shooting a music video. In front of everybody.
Yeah.
Like, it's right in front of Georgia Theater, and like all the students was around, like, oh, you eating here, you know what I mean? So it's like, yeah.
And then my thing is like, if we have players here, y'all, that are enjoying these things, the locals, and in the sense of people that are in this ecosystem, should be looking to be around that space too. Because if people are coming from across the country to come in here and be in this space, it just makes
Kylie Jenner.
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly. I'll give you another example. It was maybe like a year after the Kylie Jenner stuff, but
was it Kylie Jenner or
Kendall Jenner? I think it was Kendall Jenner. Yeah.
Jenner.
Quavo had did a concert, and I was so mad because y'all were in camp. This was last season.
Quavo did a concert. It was with
Urban.
It was with Urban Outfitters. Oh man, I just wish I was there. Now I knew, obviously, I've been around.
Here's the thing, bro.
It's such a big thing.
They planned that, and here's what I say is like, come on now, corporate. We gotta
wait till we get out of camp.
Have the players be involved.
Like, that'd be a dope thing. Like, guys,
students would have remembered that.
There we go.
And so it just shows me that, there are things out here, even though we're not Atlanta, and we might not be Austin, we might not be wherever Alabama is, but it's just like, Birmingham, Tuscaloosa. Yeah. It's just like, the city here, we're not branding something to put in front of you. This is actually where stuff's going on. And I think that's what recruits see, is that we're not, or y'all aren't trying to force that. You're trying to get the player. You're focused on the players. And I've learned now, like, there's a separation between that, like, you shouldn't have somebody on your team that's focused on promotions or focused on which celebrities are coming, and I think that's just, what they see. We were talking about, so, you want to what your legacy would be and all that stuff. And so you're going into the Rock Lobsters. Tell me what other things you would want to be involved in just after you leave, or
I want to be more involved into like marketing. You know what I mean? I want to one, find ways to market myself and help other people market themselves, because sometimes we get too in deep into football. Like sometimes like you can take a little break from football and find out ways to help yourself off the field. And so probably get more into like I don't know, like events, throwing events in the community in Athens. You know what I mean? I'll probably reach out to some people here and make it more of not just like, oh, this is Nazir Stackhouse. He used to play for Georgia. He's in the NFL now. He's doing something big for the. No, I wanted to make it more like, hey, this is a big thing going on, and such is hosting it, and it'd be great for some of the players to come. Hey, like such are there, like give opportunities, not even just football players, but like athletes in general.
You're right.
Make college a bigger experience outside of just your sport. Like, you know what I mean? You want to take like, I'm trying to see. You want to get everything out of college that it provides. So like if someone is coming from, I don't know, like a Super Bowl champion come in and he wants to do something for Athens, or he wants to throw like a big party for people to come to, take advantage of the opportunity. Do it. You know what I mean? If he wants to give back to the other community and give out food and shit like and stuff like, sorry, keep my language, and stuff like that, then do it. Oh,
Right.
And so it's just, I don't know. It's just, that's a good question. And so I feel like it'll take me time to actually think about it. I'm not gonna lie.
Right. I definitely just curious because I know like now with the draft coming up, you probably got a lot on your plate, but what's that experience been like with teams? Like who have you gone and worked out, trained with?
I worked out with the New Orleans Saints, and I worked out with the Atlanta Falcons. So
Okay.
Saints came to Athens. They did a private workout with me at the facility. It was me and some other guys too on the Georgia team.
Okay.
And we all worked out same day, different times. We had meetings with them, and we just did, a nice little workout. They wanted to see, okay, such blah blah. So we like from this player, we like from that player. Same thing with the Falcons. I went all the way to Flowery Branch. It's only like a 50-minute drive. I didn't even know.
Yeah. They training facility.
Yeah, there you go. So we go all the way. I go all the way out to Flowery Branch. Some of the guys who I did some of the private workouts with the Saints were there. Some of them were on their visits at the time, and I was just there. They just wanted me to do some of the drills and something like that.
True.
Did some medical stuff while I was there. Great experience, great workout. Never knew it was that close. Blessing to see like that they were right there. So like, okay, back Flowery Branch, and it's not about an hour away from Atlanta. Probably not even that, 45 minutes.
Right, probably, yeah, closer.
So did that with the Falcons, did that with Saints. I did my first visit. I've only had one visit, and that was to Minnesota Vikings.
Okay.
So I'm in Minnesota for the first time. It's not that cold. It's around like, I think 69, that very next, 69 degrees, but it was windy. So probably less than that. I think it was 59, and it was windy.
Who you feel like out of the teams, like, what do you feel like they get out of a player like you?
Oh, they're going to get a lot out of me, man. It's just that, like, I feel like I use my opportunities more thoroughly than others do, and it's just that I kind of break down what a team needs from me, and I want to be the best at doing that. I feel like a lot of us go and they be like, oh, I want to make big plays, I want to make plays, such and such, and maybe your opportunity may not come around to make plays. So what are you doing up to that point?
Right.
And so I feel like just for me, it's like, I want to be best at this, and I want to do better at this. So it's like, I can look back at my game and be like, okay, I got to be better at this for sure. So that's what I'm going to work on. Because a lot of teams are looking at me as, okay, he's a run stopper, such and blah, blah. But I don't want them to just dwell on that's all I can do, because I can do more for you. And so
you just were going based off of what that current team needed from you.
Yeah. For like Georgia at the moment, they needed me to be a dominant force interior wise. So like, hey, like if this team running heavy on us now, we need you to lock in on the run game. All right, man, that's what I'm gonna do. You know what I mean? And then I'm gonna give my efforts into the past two as well, pass rushing two as well. But if you feel as though I'm not giving you that much development pass rush wise, that's fine with me. If you feel as though that's what I'm not giving you, then hey, put someone else in that position to do that specific job. But and I can't blame other teams for looking at me like that, like, oh yeah, he's a run stopper, such as about. That's fine because whatever team gives me that opportunity, they gonna get everything out of Nas. And so that's like my biggest, like, I'll say that's just like my biggest thought when it comes into this draft process, you know, because it's like, hey, like there's been flashes of me pass rushing. You can't just blatantly say like, oh, you're hitting a pass rusher at all. He has never pass rushed in his life. Right? Go look at some film. Like there's been so many moments where I've gotten in that backfield and have made an impact in that play. So it was like, you can't just count me out. You can't count me out then.
And to be honest with you, that's kind of like shortchanging you, because if the media people that only see the highlights and they don't see the behind workings, they don't see the conversations with coaches. It's almost still opinionated,
and it's like, and I like to keep it that way because like sometimes I don't like to get myself too into that media side. I know how to media.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're trying to get them ratings.
They'll twist up a story real quick. So it's like, you know, you want to be careful what you say to certain people that have nothing to do with sports. You have some people that interview you have never played or have never even been in that type of environment. And the first thing they do is make up assumptions off of the information that they see from either other people, online.
Yeah.
It's just certain things. And I don't blame them. It's their job. That's what they're supposed to do.
And let me ask you, how do you stay focused from outside of
I just stay focused. I'm like, just knowing myself, you know, and staying true to myself. Like I said, way before I was telling you, I was like, hey, like all I could do is just be true to myself and do what I've been doing and do it consistently and do it the best. That's all I can do is stay true to myself. Like I was talking to this one pass rush, he's a pass rush coach, he's a specialist in pass rushing. He was like, man, F all that flashy stuff on the field. He was like, you gotta understand, like that's not who you are. You're not one of the guys who spin, cross. That's not who you are. Do what is best for you, and those strengths that you have at that game, at that very moment, that strength that you have in your game, be the best at that strength because
pride in it.
Some of us quick off the ball. Some of us a little bit slow. Some of us are really good with our hands. Mm-hmm. Some of us are really strong. Some of us are fast as hell. Some of us got a little bit of everything, but there's a lot of us who have weaknesses that we don't pinpoint and don't make part of our development on the field. So he told me that, and it opened up my mind. I'm like, wow, because I always looked, I'm like, man, like I want to try this new move. I could never be good at it. You know what I mean? But there's always been a move that I was good at. And when I was doing it, no one could stop me. There's always been a jab rip. And if they overset me, I would club backside, and their whole body I'll use that momentum against them. And so I was very good at doing that. And then because I wanted to dwell off into more like doing other things, I started to like forget what I was really good at. And so when this guy told me, his name is Nate, by the way. Nate is a pastor, so you want to look him up, Nate. Nathan O'Neal, his name. So he told me, he's like, that's not who you are, Nas. Like I watch film on you, you're not a flashy guy. He's like, a lot of your wins are going to be you taking a guy, sometimes all the way to the QB, and using his weight against him and just taking the guy's will. So most of your plays are going to be like that. A lot of your plays aren't going to be pretty. Some of them are going to be very, very ugly. So use that and do it at the best of your ability. And so I was like, bet. And so I've been doing that because I've been accepting like, hey, this isn't who I am. I could be a very powerful guy off the line of scrimmage to get into the backfield. I don't got to be them guys that be trying to like dodge a hand or this and that. But I have done it. And I have done it. There's been flashes where I have done it very, very clean. So I'm not saying that I'm just going to absolutely like exit out of my game. But that I am going to stay true to what I've been doing up to this point. Right. So that's what
discipline.
That's what keeps me like just blamed out what everybody else got to say.
Yeah. No, I like it, bro. Moms and everybody else, they excited for it?
Yeah, my mom's very excited, man. She's just been very like on her toes about certain things. And I'm like, Mom, like, relax. I feel like you taking this day bigger than I I'm taking it big, but I feel like you're more nervous for me than I am nervous. So it was like, you know what I mean? Everyone's like, my little brother, man, he hoping I get picked up by the Bills. I'm like, bro, like I'm not.
He over here with Josh Allen.
He's like, ooh, I get. Well, he loved
James.
He loved Josh Allen, bro. Yeah, bro. What?
No, James is definitely my favorite player over there.
Bro,
Josh.
bro. And I'm just glad that it didn't take him long to do it. It's about really about a season. After that first season,
that first season.
crazy. I was like, James good.
Let's tag on that, man. So you man, I'm trying to think. Do you have anything else that you want to leave with your Georgia fans, your Athens? You about to leave after the draft? You're gonna be gone, man. So what's
on for a minute?
What you gonna leave for the fans till you come back?
Athens family. I say this in all of my TikTok videos. I always say family, but Athens family. I've been nothing but thankful, and I learned a lot just being a dog, and I've taken it so much, and I appreciate all the support that y'all have just poured in onto me and just the team as a whole. I'm gonna miss y'all for sure. You know what I mean? My journey has not ended. It only is just going into another chapter in my life. And I just hope that y'all support me along with the journey that I'm going to have to the second chapter of my life and another chapter of my life. And I appreciate, like I said again, I appreciate everything and all the support. And I love Dog Nation. So the day I die, I will always love Dog Nation. Athens is my second home. And I will always come back. I will not be a celebrity. You're going to be a local.
It's an almost townie.
And when I say Athens is a place that I call home, that's not just me expressing that. That actually is deep down in my heart. You know, I've learned a lot coming out of Atlanta, Georgia. Just a city kid, city boy. I've learned how to fish. I've learned how to hunt. I've gotten into country music. And so that is something that I have cherished, and I just appreciate, like, deep down in my heart, everything. And at the end of the day, go dogs forever.
True. Well, this is I'm Ron Carson, your host, and this is Nazir Stackhouse, two-time national championship, two-time the SEC champion. I appreciate you for coming on, fam. This is a little bro, but he is definitely big in the sense of a big heart, and I'm glad that you took the time to come talk to me.
So,
and glad that you've taken this time to just, show love to Athens, bro. If there's anything we can do, you know where to find us.
There you go.
Appreciate you.
I appreciate you, man.